Welcome into another episode of Power Four Picks. We're moving on to our second college football playoff semifinal game. This is the Peach Bowl played in Atlanta, Georgia, between Oregon and Indiana. This is a rematch where Indiana kind of surprised the world, upset Oregon at Oregon, winning that game 30-20. Kind of put Indiana on the map. Not like they weren't, but a little more on the map. There's their first quality win, probably of Indiana's existence. And it kind of showed us that Indiana is the real deal. We've seen that happen time and time again this year, beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, even though that game didn't really matter, and then beating a Alabama team where, unfortunately, me and you were on Bama in that game. But looking back, I mean, what was I doing on Bama? I don't know. They're a good squad, but they have showed signs of not so greatness. Terrible SEC championship game. They had a terrible first half against Oklahoma, and then just a terrible game against Indiana. So yes, it was a really good win at the time, but Bama had their flaws, and I just refuse to accept them and try to keep fading Indiana. And this, unfortunately, has been a reoccurring theme for me, fading Indiana. Did not work out well in the regular season last year, but was happy with our playoff results. Indiana getting knocked out really, honestly, pretty badly against Notre Dame last year. But now we have an Indiana team that looks like they have a legit chance to win the college football national championship game. They're obviously the odds-on favorite now, but a tricky revenge game. We saw how that revenge game worked in the playoffs last week, where Ole Miss knocked off Georgia after losing in the regular season. So a tricky game here. Indiana is a 3.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under is set at 47.5. Like that Miami game that we did just break down, if you want that breakdown of the other college football playoff game, that's available over on our YouTube page. But like that game, we're seeing some reverse line movement here. Indiana, obviously the heavy favorite in the public's eyes on the spread in this game. But the line has moved from 4.5 and 4 roughly to now down to 3.5. So we are seeing heavy reverse line movement. Bets coming in on on Indiana, line moving in favor of Oregon. And I know that's not a great excuse to make a bet, and I usually recommend not following the sharp and the public as much in the playoffs, but I am going to take a shot on Oregon here to cover the 3.5 points. I think they have a really good possibility of winning this game outright. And again, I don't know what it is. I'm still not sold on Indiana, and I'm probably going to take that to my grave, and I'm just going to keep making myself look like an idiot. But I think Oregon is just as good as Indiana. They have the revenge. They looked fantastic against Texas Tech, who I knew me and you were both not super high on Texas Tech, but they looked absolutely unreal in that game. I think Oregon's going to come in with momentum, come in with revenge in a very even matchup, and I think Oregon is a really good shot as a dog to win this game outright. So I wouldn't be upset or surprised if Oregon knocks off Indiana, but I do like them to cover the 3.5. With that being said, I've been wrong so many times on Indiana. Would not be surprised if Indiana wins by double digits in this game. But I'm going to take Oregon, take a shot on the Ducks. Ethan, how are you feeling, Indiana, Oregon?
Yeah, I'm right there with you here. I think Oregon wins this game. I think Oregon wins the national championship. I like Oregon quite a bit in this game. It's my favorite bet of the semis here. But, yeah, you kind of mentioned it. You know, we both were kind of hanging on to Alabama a little bit. And, you know, I was pretty high on Alabama. Looking back, obviously, it was a pretty a bad read there. But one thing that I guess I didn't really take into account is Alabama really struggled in the trenches this year. Just did not have much of a pass rush, offensive line. They could not run the ball to save their lives, which we never see out of Alabama. And obviously, you can't really win against big programs. When you can't run the ball, you can't really rush the passer. I don't think Oregon's going to struggle with that. Oregon has athletes all over the field. I know Mendoza has played very well. Obviously, Heisman. I'm not ready to say he's better than Dante Moore. I do like Moore a little bit more, I think, for Oregon here. You know, we saw Oregon go up against a really good Texas Tech defense. Didn't really struggle. 23-0 win there. Their defense was able to shut out Texas Tech. So, you know, Indiana, yeah, they were superior to Alabama last week, especially in the trenches. Don't think it's going to be the same here with Oregon. I think Oregon has the better defense. And I think arguably they played a better defense in Texas Tech last week than what they'll get with Indiana. Offensively, I just think they have the weapons all over the field. And then situationally, yeah, you mentioned Indiana, incredibly public, and why not? They just beat a huge brand 38-3. Where Oregon, yes, they won 23-0, but I think everyone was kind of shocked to even see Texas Tech in the playoff as is, where Alabama is a team that's been there, done that year after year after year. So, I think people are way more impressed with Indiana's victory. They're going to go back and see that they already beat Oregon at home by 10 points. Now it's a neutral site game. They only have to win by just over a field goal. It makes sense why Indiana's the public side. I think everyone is crowning Indiana at this point the national champion. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think Oregon, like I said, has the athletes offensively and defensively to outplay Indiana here. I think they have the better defense. I think they're going to control the trenches a little bit better. And it's been a good story for Indiana, and you don't really get to a national championship in a year or two, really. I guess you kind of can, but it just feels like it's too early for Indiana still. So Oregon's kind of a team that's been up at the top of college football year after year after year, and they've really struggled to get themselves a national championship. Looks like the door's open for them this year. Conference game, rematch game. I like Oregon, plus 3.5, my best bet for the semis. Think they win outright. Think they go on to beat, not sure yet. We'll see who wins that the first game, I guess. But I like Oregon to win the national championship.
I like the confidence, and hopefully we can go 2-0 there. I'm glad you did mention the quarterbacks here. Not just is this not just a revenge game, but we also have a battle of potentially the number 1 and number 2 overall picks in the NFL draft between Dante Moore and Mendoza from Indiana. So a little bit of a storyline there as well. I'm excited to see these two quarterbacks battle once again. But we appreciate you guys for following along. If you guys are interested in more, not just college football, but more sports betting predictions, make sure you do follow along over here on YouTube. We also are holding a playoff pick'em over on our new website, bettergreen.com, where we are giving away a signed Jamar Chase jersey to our premium members, whoever wins that competition. So if you do want that link is in the description. Again, signed Jamar Chase jersey, cool little promo we're doing over here for the new year in 2026 over at Better and Green. But we appreciate you guys. Good luck with the college football semifinals. Make sure you do follow along over on our YouTube page. We do have our wild card weekend NFL predictions out there coming shortly. But we appreciate you guys. Good luck, and hope you guys can win some money. We'll see you in our next episode.
Welcome to Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? Listening to cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast, Better and Green.